Booksmart, 2019. This is directed by Olivia Wilde, and I think it was her first directorial feature debut. Um, it's a film, it's coming of age film, again set at the end of a school year, uh, American school, and everyone's graduating and going to college or university or finding a job. And the main two characters are Amy, played by Caitlin Dever, and Molly, who is played by Beanie Feldstein. And I think uh, Amy's lesbian and Molly's straight. Um, the this does come up in the film that there's a lot that is LGBTQIA plus friendly in this film. Everyone uh, the there's a hostility that goes on, but none of it is to do with being LGBTQIA plus, and it's almost like how things were in 2019. Uh, kind of I saw it at the time in the cinema. I've seen it again relatively recently, and I felt nostalgic for that time because of what has changed during the 2020s. But to start with, every film showing the end of a school year when everyone is breaking up, it seems to outdo any previous movies with just absolutely zany, over the top mayhem, as much mayhem as possible. They always seem to go absolutely wild. And here they're filling up condoms with water. I suppose that happens in other films. I probably haven't seen them, but throwing them about, ticker tape, the whole lot. The whole place looks a mess, and you think, how on earth is someone going to clean up on all this? But so the schools are finishing for the year. Everyone's going to be going back, and Amy and Molly are this book smart girls, more or less as the title suggests. They have concentrated fully on getting the best possible grades and getting into the best universities. But on one of the final days, they it's Molly who wanders into a all gender toilet, and she's sitting in a stall or cubicle when three other students come in and they have a conversation that involves her, and they're disparaging about her. And so when she gets out of the loo, she um, tries to put them down by saying about, well, all the best with where you're going to, but I'm off to, is it Harvard, one of the Ivy League universities, and Um, she thinks she's got one up on them, and then they break the news that they're all doing really well. One isn't going to college, but the other two of the three, they're going to very notable place like Stanford and Harvard. But then, and what the one who is going to Harvard says she'll pretend she won't know her. So it's a double rubbing her face in it sort of scenario. But then there's this, oh gosh, um, the third of the three students isn't going to university, but is going to work for Google and about to pull a mid six-figure job. It's like, so Molly's really upset, really takes it badly. Um, she goes for commiseration cake slice on a view overlooking their town, and they eat the cake, and they resolve that they are going to party for that final night, because if they don't party that night, then they won't be able to say that they partied during their school year. It's almost like during their time in school, and it's there's logic to it, um, and they're they're in. I mean, actually, they disagree about it, but they do go on it. But there's this whole uh, thing that they want to get their own back on the irresponsible students, the ones who did mess up but still are going to be super successful. Um, it is pretty funny, I think. There's all these references to notable campaigners. Susan B. Anthony, who was 19th century reformer, women's rights, anti-slavery, that sort of thing. But the funniest I think of the sort of scenes is when they're calling Malala. I mean, it's like to call Malala is like the one trick card that is like pulling the card that will make the other of the two comply. It's it's that kind of situation. It is it's funny. It's hard to explain, but um, if you like that sort of humour, it's kind of very left wing. So um, it appeals to me a lot. It's very woke, um, to use that term, and I don't tend to use that term, but woke meaning uh, alert to injustices and to actually do something about changing the world for the better, making doing being attempting to leave the world in a better state than how we found it, actually working against the injustices that exist in this world. That's what that is. And this feels like one of the best films of 2019, as far as I remember at that time. And seeing it again, I felt quite crushed that things have changed in a way for the worse since those times, because it was an optimistic time that things were going to continue improving, I thought, at that time. I really loved how they spent a lot of time affirming each other. They they really care about each other. And of course, there's an inevitable fallout. I think every film like this almost inevitably has a fallout where they just stop seeing eye to eye. There's so much pressure. Um, and being as coming of age films are all about learning. I mean, today I ran into a former colleague from a job I was doing, kind of work I was doing over a decade ago. And we're by the open air canal at King's Cross, and there was Mean Girls on being screened, and we watched this last segment, and we are talking about how um, coming of age films are so good. They show um, what you can learn at that age, and you learn so much when you're in your teenage years. You get all the knocks, you get so bad knocks of life, but it's an opportunity to learn a lot that you haven't at that point. And I think this was one of the better films, definitely one of the best films I can remember if I was asked for 2019 films 6 years ago now. Um, but there are a few scenes I was less sure about. I mean, there's this kind of some taxi scenes where they sort of um, seem to be threatening the taxi driver at one point, and it's just like don't know, that didn't feel that believable. I mean, it was comic, and I guess that's the whole point of it. I don't know. Some films, you see things like that. I think I rolled with it first time. When I saw it again, I thought, not really sure this works as well as it might have. The script suggests maybe I need to think about it some more. But I did like the LGBTQIA plus references, and it really gives a good timestamp for how things were in 2019. But in one respect, because there is a line which is reference to a particular book series that um, in mid 2019, or even right up until close to the end of that year, probably wouldn't know that this particular book series is um, not LGBTQIA plus friendly. It certainly isn't trans friendly, and that's the whole point. Um, since then, I don't think that would, if it was written today, that film, I don't think that would be included. That's what's changed. It's stuff like that. Um, so I think most of it. I mean, right at the end, there's also this. There's a scene that there's some scenes that are about a problematic person. I think it's in California, and there's like notices up in a police station about someone who's a criminal, an alert. And, yeah, there's stuff like that I'm just, thinking, is that a good thing for comedy? I suppose it did seem to work. I certainly thought, "Alright, roll with that." Um, and then seeing it a second time, I thought, that's it's a bit, on the edge, I feel, as in not really what I would, include. I thought there's a lot of great acting, great actors in this film. Lisa Kudrow, Will Forte, Maya Rudolph, her voice at least. Jason Sudeikis, he's the principal. Um, and it felt such an enjoyable romp. I I really did enjoy it, seeing it all over again. And it is the kind of film I would watch over again and again. I think it's one of those films that if I wanted to be reminded of how things were at the end of the last decade, 6 years ago, what that was like, that's the go-to film, certainly in terms of coming of age films. I mean, films since then and films from each decade, they show the uh, arc of how things have gone, and of course, things have changed, not really for the best very recently, and it's heartbreaking. And sometimes I like the nostalgia. Sometimes the nostalgia is painful to see that, but I think there's enough escapism, there's enough repartee, good humour throughout this film that I'm pretty sure I'd have scored this when I first saw it about 9 out of 10, and I still would. I don't think I'd drop it. I think I would still. I think it's it's good on the best show rating. It's a film about women, and so many coming of age films about men, and I've seen a few of those, like Superbad and Role Models. Seen them again recently. I might review those as well. But this certainly gets a 9 out of 10. So thanks for watching. If you like this review, please hit the like. Um, thanks if you subscribe. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.